Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our second episode of the 2023-2024 season preview series, which we're doing. We did Manchester City yesterday, so if you haven't checked it out, do go check it out after watching this one. And then today we're going to do Arsenal because we're kind of working down the ladder from last season's standings. So we're doing Arsenal today. Won't be able to do all the 20 clubs, of course, as I mentioned, and not all the clubs in all the leagues, but at least we'll try to do the big ones, the popular ones. So we're doing Arsenal today. And I mean, it's an interesting one with Arsenal because since I started thinking of this series, I was thinking, where do I put Arsenal? Do I put them second? Do I put them third? Do I put them fourth? In terms of standings, and then what my expectations for them this season were, because they're a little bit different. But fortunately, other events that have conspired around the other clubs has kind of convinced me that I think Arsenal have a very good chance of finishing second this season. Because when you look at some of the other clubs, there are obvious gaps, obvious holes, events that have happened over the last few days that have kind of told me, you know what, I think Arsenal at the moment are favorites to finish second in the league, and that's what I will stand by. I think they will finish second in the league. Will they challenge for the title? I think they should challenge for the title, and I think they will be City's closest challengers for the title. But in the sense of challenging, will they actually do what they did last year, where they kind of ran City close for about 90% of the season and then they fell away? Will that happen? That I think is a bigger question, because when you look at Arsenal, the big issue is striker, because they'll be without a striker for at least 2-3 months, as long as Gabriel Jesus is out, without a recognized, without their first choice striker. They do have Balogun, they do have Nketiah, they have Trossard who can play there, so they do have players who can play in that position, but their main striker is going to be out for a while, and that can be an issue, because I don't think Nketiah has really proven himself completely yet. Balogun is still very raw, very young, very untested at Premier League level. Trossard has played as striker, but he prefers not playing as a striker, so there's things there, and that could come back to bite them. The good thing for us from Arsenal's point of view is there are gaps in other squads, in other teams' squads, which I think are bigger, and so therefore I feel Arsenal will benefit from that. But will they have enough to challenge for the title? I don't think so. I don't think they will get close to City. This is my opinion, and by close I mean, again, like I go back to this point, can Arsenal get 10-15 points clear of Manchester City by the time we hit the 23 game mark? And I don't think they will. By 10, if I'm not even 10, I say 15-20 mark, actually. Will they get that? I don't think they will. I think if at all, they might be a few points ahead of City going into the last 15 games of the season. Because City will, I suspect City will start a bit slow until everything is in place. So I do expect them to start slow. So I expect that Arsenal will be behind. May take advantage of that, but they won't be substantially ahead. And therefore, I feel City will kind of pull ahead again and win it comfortably in the end. That's my prediction for this season. That's how I see it rolling out. But I think Arsenal will be City's closest challengers this season, and that how close they will get, that part I don't know. Maybe 5 points, maybe 10 points, but I just don't see Arsenal challenging for that. The problem is the striker. Now they fix the striker, and there's time in the window. They might get a second striker and then or another striker, and then we might think, okay, I might have to change that. But to date, right now, what I'm seeing, I don't see Arsenal challenging for that. That being said, whatever they lack in the strike force, they've really made it up for it in the midfield and defense. I mean, bringing Declan Rice is a brilliant signing. I think he's going to be a massive player for Arsenal. He's going to be very, very important for them. We always talk about how important midfields are, and they are really, really important. So the fact that they've got Odegaard, Havertz, Rice, Partey, you've got 4 genuine quality options in that midfield area. Plus, you've also got Smith Rowe who can kind of play there. Fabio Vieira, who can also play there. So they've got options. But the question is, what they'll need is a bit of luck with injuries. What you don't want is Partey getting injured right at the start of the season. You don't want Odegaard getting injured at the start of the season. You don't want Declan Rice getting injured at the start of the season. So those things can happen. And as long as those, and I don't mean all 3 are getting injured at the same time, because that would be a disaster. But even if one of them falls out, you don't want even one of them to lose, go down to injury. So that will be key. But I think if everybody is fit, now the problem is that's not going to happen because Jesus is already injured. But if he was fit and if the entire squad was fit, I think Arsenal could have had, and with a bit of luck, I think Arsenal could have, maybe pushed City closer or maybe even won the league. Actually, the problem is the squad is a little bit bare in certain depth areas, and therefore that's where I feel like they won't be able to challenge consistently. They won't be able to challenge City consistently. Which is a bit sad. But nonetheless, I think their midfield is really, really good. Their defense is really, really good as well. I think Julian Timber coming in, he had a very good game in the Community Shield. I think he'll be a big player for them, absolutely important. Can play right back, centre back, left back. So gives them a lot of options across the board. Saliba, hopefully he can stay fit. if he can. I think he's going to carry on from where he left off last season. I think he looked very, very good in the Community Shield as well. I think Arsenal as a whole looked quite good defensively against Manchester City. Yes, they rode their luck at times, but they did look very, very solid, and they won't be playing teams of the caliber of City every week anyway. So I think they should be okay. And defense wins you games and wins you championships in some ways. It won't win them the championship, but at least it gets in a league title race. Defense is a good defense and a good midfield is really, really critical. And I think Arsenal have that covered, and I think that is going to give them the advantage over other teams around them, barring Manchester City. So I do feel that David Raya signing, I mean, some people on the fence about it. Some might say, well, was he needed, was he not needed? I think having him is going to be good, because if Ramsdale does drop off in form, then I think Raya can take his place, and at least that he knows that there's going to be a credible backup that could challenge him. So I feel like that's a good signing. Expecting a lot of Saka as well, who I think is going to be a key player this season. Somebody who's already one of the top 3 wingers in the Premier League, and you expect that he will hopefully kick on and push on and become even better this season. Martinelli still blows a bit hot and cold, so I'm hoping he can add a bit of consistency to his game. And I think overall, I think Arsenal are well balanced. It's only the striker is the issue, which is a big issue. But other than that, I think Arsenal look pretty well balanced across the board, and that's really, really credit to Arteta. The one thing I will say about Arteta though is the fact that last season I called him a Pep Light. And I stand by that. I think he's very Pep-like in that he tries to copy Pep's tactics and use them for Arsenal. Whereas Pep, and those are old tactics. Pep comes up with new ones and he moves ahead. So I think what this season tactically Arteta's got to do is he's got to try not to be Pep-like. It's okay to be Pep-like in certain games, but I think if he wants to overtake Manchester City, he can't be Pep-like. If he wants to overtake Pep Guardiola, he can't use his own tactics against him. He's got to come up with something new. Got to try and become his own manager, his own coach, and ultimately use that. If Arsenal is seriously going to challenge City, they need to do that. Does Arteta have the ability to do that? That's a question. I mean, I don't think he's answered it. For me, at least, he hasn't answered it yet. Maybe for you guys, he has. Oh, by the way, speaking of midfield, Jorginho is there as well. Another good option there as well. So sometimes I forget about Jorginho, but he's there as well. So you've got a lot of options in that area. But yeah, so for Arteta, I think that is going to be the key for his evolution. That is going to be the key. Can he move out of Pep's shadow, and can he become his own manager, his own coach with his own tactics? If he can, I think Arsenal could do something this season. If not, then I think it will be the same as last season, where they have a very good start and then eventually fall away. So that will be the key point from Arteta's point of view. Do they need to make any signings before the end of the summer? I mean, they've already spent so much money, so I don't even know if they have money. But I'm sure they would have liked to bring another striker if they could. I don't know if they have the money to bring in somebody who can actually seriously challenge Jesus for that first team spot. Other than that, I think they're well covered in other areas. Maybe some might say they might need a proper out-and-out right back rather than using centre backs at right back. But I think, that's a minor gripe. I think they can manage with what they have. Yeah, so that's second place. I think that's why I see the player that I want to watch out. That I'm looking forward to seeing this season is obviously Declan Rice. I mean, Saka is great, and I always enjoy watching him. I'm sure people are excited to see how much Odegaard develops and continues. There are people who want to watch Yuri Timber. I think he's going to be a good signing as well for them. But I'm really excited to see Declan Rice, because this is a player that I followed for a very, very long time. I believe that United should have signed him in 2019 in Ole's first season. First full season, they should have signed him. They didn't at that time. He's gone on to become a good player. For West Ham, he's become a legend for West Ham. Won the Conference League. Now he's going to take that step up after having played in Europe's two, second tier competition and third tier competition. He's now going to have to make the step up and play in the Champions League. Can he do it? Can he showcase, why other clubs were wrong to not go for him earlier? I think that will be a very, very interesting thing to watch. And I'm excited to see him. I'm sure he'll do well for Arsenal. I'm excited to see how well he does. And what will be exciting as well is to see what kind of combination does he use between Odegaard, Thomas Partey, Havertz, and Rice. Like how does he use those four players will be also interesting to see. So I'm excited for a lot of things. And we'll see how everything develops and how everything grows. But it's exciting. It's an exciting season. It's going to be an exciting season for Arsenal one way or another, because either they will do really well and exceed expectations, or they will still do well and manage and achieve expectations. Because I think, I'm very excited. Or they will crash and burn. I don't think they will. But, either way, I think it's going to be an exciting season for Gunners fans. So I'm excited for that. All the best, of course, and let's see what happens. Share your thoughts, of course. Do you agree with my predictions? Do you disagree with them? Let them know in the comments. Always love hearing your thoughts. Smash like if you enjoyed this video. Do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll have more of these previews coming up. So stay subscribed to stay notified. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.